Welcome, fanboy the snob. I'm Chad. And today we're talking about the 1993 Michael Douglas movie,
Michael Douglas, Joel Schumacher,
Jolie Schumacher,
falling down.
Falling Down. Why would you make me watch this movie?
So you can better understand my point of view about the world. Why does Coke cost 85 cents?
Oh my
Why
God.
can't it cost 50 cents? It's not like Coke's running out. It's not like they're not making billions of dollars. So why does it have to cost so much fucking money?
So this movie,
Right though, right?
starts out with Michael Douglas sitting in a traffic jam.
He is your basic white collar, pens in the pocket. He's got a briefcase. Hey, wow, we've been doing that a lot today. He's sitting in a shitty rundown Saab in the middle of a heat wave in LA traffic, with someone in the car adjacent to him in a convertible, obviously richer than he is, screaming on a car phone, which didn't. I mean, Zoomers don't understand, but before cell phones and after phones, there were car phones.
My dad had one.
I know. I know. um, um, so this fucking cokehead is screaming into the car phone about his drugs, and his friend keeps going, "Give me the phone!" And the whole time they're screaming, they're both beeping the horn of the car behind, next to him. The car behind him is a fat, ugly woman just putting pounds and pounds of makeup on her face. In front of him is a little Mexican girl, right?
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
you see her later on in the film
Yeah.
in Gangland. A little Mexican girl just staring back at him with like doe eyes, innocence, So that's what's in front of him. What's behind him is ugliness. What's to the next of him is hate. And then just next to the shitty car is a bus full of children just screaming and throwing things. So he's got innocence, hate, ugliness, and chaos surrounding him. And he's like, and it starts in the way that I love this camera because it's constantly like close-ups. You hated this part, but it's always showing them sweating.
No, I didn't hate the idea of doing it. I just don't like it when people zoom into people's mouths.
But it made you feel stressed out, right?
Yeah,
That's
there's something about mouths.
And then he finally goes, like, his AC's broken, his window doesn't work. He
goes to roll the window up and just, you wouldn't know.
Yeah,
most people
Zoomers wouldn't
watching
know.
this. Because
Windows
always
used
have
to
to
work
crank
like this. It was a crank,
If
and
it hit it too hard, it would break.
then it's broken forever, and you
Yeah.
can never use your window. So
Yeah.
it's finally getting to him, and as soon as he opens his door, it gets real quiet. Did you notice that? Like, he throws his door open, and it goes silent, and he kind of has this moment where he's like breathing, like finally, like, okay, like he escaped it. And then he gets out of his car, and the guy behind him goes, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm going home." And he just starts walking home, and he leaves his car there. Then what happens?
Then it cuts to like. I want to stick more to his story. We'll talk about like
Look at Robert Duvall's story is parallel to Michael Douglas's story. They're both kind of similar characters. It's just one follows the law and the other doesn't.
Yeah, one goes over the edge, the other one stays.
One has a nervous breakdown, the other one compromises, I guess you could say.
Yeah, at the end it works out.
Yeah, I guess it does work out in the end in the worst way possible. But it works out.
Just kill the guy. Spoilers.
Well, the daughter gets the insurance.
It's true.
Hopefully she doesn't spend it on a liberal arts degree. Because, like, why? I want to make no money, like.
It's not about the money, man.
Yeah, right. Anyway,
so
right.
it cuts to his scene. He's going to the police station. Well, this is after he helps the other cop like push the car.
Robert Duvall is actually like 4 cars back.
Yeah.
But far enough away that he doesn't see Michael Douglas get out of the car, but close enough that he's able to walk up to Michael Douglas's car and be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
And what does license plate say?
Defense.
Yeah.
So apostrophe FENS, which
Weird license plate.
defense. He works in the defense department, which
Yeah,
is revealed later on.
He could.
He used to build missiles to protect his country. You know, like
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's a great speech at the end. So the cop shows up. He kind of walks forward and he's like, because a bike cop, a motorcycle cop, passes him. So he naturally, being a police officer, gets out of his car and follows the motorcycle cop. Motorcycle cop is a super duper dick to him for no reason, because you're all on the same side. And eventually they push the car out of the way. He makes note of the license plate. He hears the story of the driver behind him about how a guy in a white shirt with a tie ran out of his car into the woods. And then it cuts to Michael Douglas, and he's in a bodega, right? And he's like, oh no, he's on the phone. He calls his wife on a payphone, and he doesn't say anything, and she hangs up. And he needs more money to call her, so he goes into the bodega.
Oh, yeah.
And
Convenience store for those who don't.
and the guy goes, he goes, "Can I have change for $1?" And the clerk goes, "No, you have to buy something."
Well, let's talk about this is the first. This is the real first interaction of how
How
this
he,
day because the cashier literally had the register open.
yeah, they show
And
the
he sh-
cashier,
They make a point to see him like slam it shut.
and,
Be like,
and not only do that, they show him breaking open a roll of quarters. So you knew he had change.
yeah.
Like you knew he had change. So he goes, "Nope, no change unless you buy something." So he walks over, and they do this cool shot where it's from inside the cooler, and like you can just see the cold air blasting me in the face. And he has this moment where he's like, "Oh god," like
This is the point of the movie where if he just would have got the money for the phone,
if he had
it-
just got the change, none of this would have happened.
yeah, because this is his like, I'm calm, I'm good.
Oh, so he goes over to the register and he goes, "All right, I'll buy this Coke." And the guy goes, 85 cents. And he goes, "What?" And he goes, 85 cents. And he goes, "If I give you the dollar, I won't have enough money to pay for the payphone. The whole reason I would be giving you the dollar is to get change for the payphone." And he goes, "I don't care, 85 cents. Leave my store." And then Michael Douglas goes, "Make me." Which is that moment we've all had it where you're finally like, you know what? Make me. And so the guy reaches for a baseball bat, and Michael Douglas overpowers him and knocks him to the floor and starts smashing up the convenience store. Like, "How much for a 3 pack of these donuts?" And he goes, 4.85. And
$1.35.
yeah, and he smashes them and he goes, 75 cents. And "How much for aspirin?" 3.95. And he smashes that.
And eventually they get to the soda. He's like, "How much for the soda?" 50 cents. So he goes and pops the register open, puts his dollar, and takes 50 cents out, and just
Just
leaves.
leaves.
Doesn't rob him because the guy's like, "Take all the money, take all
He's
the
like,
money."
"I don't, you think I'm a criminal? You think I'm a robber?
He's like, "I'm just standing up for the consumer."
I'm just a consumer." I like the line too, where he's like, "You're going to take that money from me? Do you know how much money my country gives to your country?" And then the guy goes, "How much?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know, but it's a lot," you know? Like, I like that because that's like every internet racist argument,
Yeah.
you know? Like if they can't actually quote numbers and facts, they don't know what they're fucking talking about. I can. So it so he smashes up the place, right? And he grabs his Coke, and then it cuts to the cop in his office, and he opens his drawer, and it's full of sand.
Kitty litter to be exact.
Kitty litter to be exact. Turns out he's retiring today. And everyone in the entire office makes a point to bring up stories about other cops that were killed a day before retiring or 5 minutes walking out to his car. He
Yeah.
got hit by a fucking whatever, you know, like
I like how the movie starts out where you think they all like him, but at the end they're like
everyone's an asshole to him.
yeah, nobody really likes him.
Yeah, because he's a coward cop. He hides behind his desk.
We find out why later on.
Yeah, because he lives in LA. Like it fucking makes sense. I wouldn't leave my desk.
Well, his wife made him.
Yeah, true. And his wife's psycho. But
Yeah.
he cheats on. So it goes back to him, and he has this big scene, and he pulled out a picture of his daughter, and that's where you kind of go, "Oh, daughter's dead," because pulling it out of the dirt,
Yeah.
you know.
Symbolism. Gerald Schumacher.
Yeah.
He has a lot of stuff in that movie.
Dude, his camera work was amazing. Whoever was DP on that movie was.
I want to see his Batman movies.
Yeah, I
like the
would
way
love to
he
see.
wanted them.
Yeah, I would love to see that, and I would love to see just more Tim Burton Batman movies, but not modern Tim Burton, old Tim Burton. I don't want to watch Harry Potter Tim Burton movies,
He didn't make Harry Potter.
but he was so heavily influenced. Hot Topic Tim Burton. I don't want to see Hot Topic Tim Burton. Does that work better? So it cuts back to Michael Douglas, who's sitting on a rock in a field.
Not a field, like just like a
Just a hill,
just some place.
an outcropping, just eating his sandwich, drinking his
Coke.
just minding his own fucking business.
Coke he paid for.
The Coke he paid for. And what happens?
These two, I guess you could call them gang members.
Latin gang members. They do say they're in a gang.
Yeah. They walk up and they point to a symbol on the rock saying, "This is our rock." And
They go, "This is our land." And he goes, "I didn't see any signs." And they point to graffiti. And then he goes, "Oh, is that what that means?" And they're like, "Yeah, that means it's our territory." And he went, "Well, maybe if you wrote it in fucking English, I'd know." I fucking love that line.
he's like the most passive aggressive person.
I know, he's me. So anyway, the two Latin gang members decide to make it a thing instead of just because he actually goes, he gets off the rock and he goes, "All right, you're right. I'm in your territory. This is obviously some gangland stuff. I don't want to be a part of it. If you just let me leave, I'll leave."
And then they try to go for his briefcase.
And then they go, "No, you're not going to leave. Give me your briefcase." They pull a knife on him. And he goes, "Okay, you want the briefcase? I'll give you the briefcase."
Did you mention I stole the bat from the
Oh, no.
store clerk?
So after he wrestled the bat away, he left with a bat.
Upgrade.
Upgrade, yeah. He leveled up. Mission 1 complete. Bat obtained. Mission 2, fight gang members. So he's in the field and they pull the knife on him. It's a butterfly knife because 90s. And when he reaches down for the briefcase, he grabs the bat and just smashes the knife wielder on the elbow.
Ugh.
And then cracks the other guy upside the head.
Downstairs.
And then, yeah, and the guy winds up falling down this staircase. And he fucking is like, "What's up? What's up?" You know, and they're like trying to run away. And he was like, "You fucking run away. Tell everyone I'm coming." And he throws the bat, picks up the knife,
Da-da-da.
flicks it around, puts it in his pocket, grabs his briefcase, and keeps walking.
I want people to re-edit this movie as a video game.
Dude, we're not the first to come up with that concept. That's like a common critique. It's
Really?
just an RPG. If this was a Grand Theft Auto game, you'd be like, "Yeah, this is awesome." Because then it cuts back to the cop, and the Asian guy, the store owner, is talking about how some guy, just some regular guy in a tie and a fucking white shirt, beat the shit out of me. And he's like, "I don't care." You know? And then it cuts back to Michael Douglas, and he's at a payphone.
So he's trying to call his wife, and this is where you find out where she actually, because the whole time she's like, "I know it's you, just answer." And he goes, "Hi, I'm coming home." And she's like, "You can't come home."
You can't come home.
So we find out that they're not as happy as
You're my wife, your ex-wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little shaky.
Starts to unravel the whole idea of a man coming home. Right?
So this is the point where he's like, "No, I'm coming home."
I'm gonna come home. Like nothing is gonna stop me.
But as the scene's going on, you see the gang members driving in
It
their
cuts to
car.
the guy with the broken arm and 3 other friends and his girlfriend, and they're like, "There he is." And then he goes, "Get out of the car." And the girl's like, "It's stupid. Just let it go." And he's like, "No, I gotta do this." For some reason. So she gets out of the car. They pull out a bowling bag or a gin bag, if you will,
Yeah.
full of guns. And they go to do a drive-by. As he's hanging up the phone, and typical inner city gang member, they missed the target.
I like how it just goes over, like they kind of show it go.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. They started shooting the recoil, and then they tried to compensate, and they just missed him. But they hit a mother, they hit an old man,
Yeah.
they hit a kid.
And then fucking Michael Douglas just walks around. He's like,
Yeah, so
Oh shit!
they do the drive-by, and a guy in a Ford Bronco cuts them off because he's panicking, which causes the car to crash into a parked car. So Michael Douglas is just standing there like looking at everyone's shot,
So he just fucking walks up to the car.
sees that it's the guys he beat up earlier,
Well, he knew it was.
grabs their guns, and goes, "You missed." And then he shoots and goes and misses. And goes, "I missed too." And then he shoots him in the legs, and he's like, "Okay." It just walks away, and everyone in the crowd is just like, "Okay, this is some shit I don't want to deal with," and they walk away.
And then it cuts back to the.
And he's interviewing the girl.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's interviewing a girl,
the girlfriend of the gang member.
and she's not saying anything. She says, "It's some white guy. It's some white guy," and everyone's like, "Yeah, whatever." And the cop is like, "Wait, so a white guy smashed up a store, and then he shot a gang, and then he was involved in a drive-by, like, you know?" And he starts putting it together. Then he cuts to Michael Douglas in a McDonald's.
What was it called? McWally's or Wally's?
Wally,
A Wally burger.
Wallop
Yeah,
burger or something.
Wally's.
Yeah,
I don't know where else that was from, but
Black Arnold's,
Mac Arnold's.
or what is the one from Coming to America? McDolan's or
I
something.
think it's McDonald's.
Yeah. So he goes to like a fast food restaurant, and he walks in and he goes, "I would like your breakfast combo." And what's her name?
Sheila.
Sheila goes, "Ooh, we just stopped serving breakfast." And he goes, "No, you don't understand. I want breakfast." And she goes, "No, I'm not going to do it." And he goes, "Can I speak to your manager?" And then Rick walks over,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Hey, Rick, I would like your breakfast." And he goes, "Ooh, we stopped serving breakfast at 11:30." And then he looks at his watch, and it's like 11:31.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Come on, just give me your breakfast. Come on, Rick." And then he goes, "Wait a minute. I don't know you. Why am I calling you by your first name? I don't want to be your friend." Like, he has that moment where it's just like, I don't give a shit what your fucking name is. Isn't the customer always right? And he goes, "Well, yes, but that's not our policy." And then what happens next?
There is one point where he's like, "Just give me the breakfast," and Sheila goes and grabs him.
Goes to grab the breakfast, and Rick won't let her. Sheila was definitely creaming her pants.
Yeah, she was. They made a weird thing to have her pretty much like get very hot and bothered by.
Because he walks up to Rick and he's like, "Fuck you."
And she's like, "You can call me Mrs."
Yeah,
whatever her
dude,
last
she
name
was
is."
100% into him. And it's because he walked in and he was like, "I'm not taking no for an answer." Chicks like that sometimes. Yeah, so she's like super into him because he's being assertive and dominant, and Rick's kind of like melting. Rick is such a pussy in this scene. But Rick is being like the kind of pussy where he's like, "No, I'm not gonna do it,"
It's the guy. It's like I was a manager at like a pizza place. Like,
He's younger than
so I'm
you.
not trying to super insult him, but he's doing the "I am in charge" thing.
He's younger than you, and he's telling you what to do because his hat is a little different than the person next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're 26. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, that's where Michael Douglas was at. So the guy says, "I'm not going to give you breakfast," and he pulls a fucking Tech 9 out of his magical bag of guns.
The best part of that scene is he accidentally pulls the trigger and he's
Whoa!
like, "I'm not trying to hurt
I'm
anybody."
not trying to hurt anyone.
It's very sensitive.
I'm sorry, the trigger's really sensitive. I didn't mean to do that. And like, that's where he learns trigger discipline.
Yeah.
Because he never put his finger on the trigger again unless he means to pull it. So he does that and he's like, "Whoa." And it's like a restaurant full of like families. I like that one family where like the extra like had bad instincts and he's like reaching out towards his kid across the table, but keeping his eyes on the gunman as to kind of like yank his kid behind him.
That kid was great though.
That kid was awesome. I really liked that scene because like whoever that extra was had great instincts. But yeah, he basically explains how it's like you make fucking shitty food. Look at this. Look at the picture. Like, fuck yourselves.
Yeah, he finally gets his food. He pays for it and just picks it up.
He pays for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he picks it up and it's just like flattened. And he has every instant rage every fast food consumer.
And he's just
has.
like, and even Sheila's like nodding her head, like, "You're right. The food sucks here."
The little kid in the background's like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, "Who agrees?" And the kid's the only one
The one kid, like a 7-year-old kid, just raises his hand to agree with him, and he just kind of is like, and then it cuts back to the cop. And now he's hearing about a crazy guy who shot up a burger joint, but didn't steal anything or hurt anyone and paid for his food. So now he's starting to put it together
But nobody wants to fucking listen to him.
because he's the bitch cop. He meets the chief. The chief is punching a punching bag. He has all his boxing trophies. He's like super aggro macho, like just go out there and bust some heads kind of. Anyway, so the chief is a super douchebag. He basically tells the main cop that he doesn't like him. That he's
Yeah,
always
that was pretty shitty.
that scene was pretty rough. He was like, "Look, I've always been nice to you because HR told me to, but now that you're retiring, I fucking hate you." and Robert Duvall doesn't like he plays such a beta well. He's like looking away, like making eye contact casually, but like like
Yeah,
he like shrinks when he starts getting yelled at. It was really good acting on Robert Duvall's case.
there was a lot of good like little
Oh,
acting points
oh
in this
my
movie. I
God.
wish I could remember all of them.
Well, this movie's 2 hours long, and every single scene is amazing with lots of stuff happening in the background. Like the Mexican restaurant scene. You didn't pick up on the fact that he was cheating on his wife with her.
No, it was more hopeful that he wasn't.
No, but that's the thing about this movie is no one's a good guy, as we learn about Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
So oh wait, don't they go to his parents' house next after the fast food restaurant?
That's a little later because I think he
What
found out the license plate.
what
So I
did
did that on purpose.
yeah, what do they do after the fast food restaurant? Where does Michael Douglas go? To the Army Navy store.
Yeah. Oh god, how did we feel about that?
Because he's still got a hole in his shoe. So he goes to the Army Navy store, and there's these two guys who I didn't know they were gay until the guy started yelling at them.
Well, it's pure '90s gay attire.
But in my head, I was like, those are just some strapping young lads,
Fucking just jacked and want to show it
I
off.
was like, I get it. I do the same thing. I guess I'm '90s gay. um, so these two gay guys are like shopping in an Army Navy store. Should we have to explain what an Army Navy store is?
No, it's a store that's
Yeah, but think about the Midwest. They don't have Army Navy stores because they don't have Navy near them. So basically, Army Navy is when the Army, or in our case, because we live on the coast, the Navy has surplus. They basically open up a pawn shop, if you will, and they sell off all their old gear. So you can go. I went into an Army Navy store and I bought ninja rope with the claw and a Coca-Cola shirt written in Farsi. And
And you know what to say about regulars of Navy surplus stores?
apparently we're crazy.
Fucking sickos.
The best one was in Newport. Every time I went to Newport, I went to that Army Navy store. The guy knew me by name. I fucking loved going there. I would buy boots, I would buy shirts, I would buy gear. I have a fucking K bar that and a whetstone, and I keep it sharp. For that sounds like I'm a psycho. But hey, fuck you. When the world ends, I'll be ready. You won't. Um, though, right? That's the thing about prepping. Like up until they're right, or no, up until they're wrong, they're right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, he goes in the Army Navy store. The two gay guys are shopping. The store clerk sees Michael Douglas's character looking at boots, and he decides to talk to him.
Yeah.
And he starts talking about the Desert Storm boots, which are garbage. And then he starts talking about the Vietnam era boots. They're like, you can walk through a foot of mud and not worry about it, which is true.
What trench boots?
And then he goes, with these boots, you can really stomp out a or whatever or something
He
like
did not
that.
say-
Yes, he did. Dude, he said. No, you can't leave this out either because this is the point of this character is he is hate.
Yeah.
So he reveals himself to be a fucking anti-black, anti-gay, anti-Jew bigot, like a white supremacist altogether, to the point of where and a misogynist. The female cop rolls up to the store
Yeah.
just to be like, "Hey, have you seen a guy with a tie and a white coat or whatever?" And he helps Michael Douglas hide, and he goes, so why are you an officer and not an officer S? Like you got actor, you got actress, because you're and then she's like, well, we are all police officers despite, and just completely diffuses it and walks away. And then Michael Douglas is like, "Why did you help me?" And he goes, "I want to show you something."
Oh god. And then they go into his fucking Nazi
Basement,
memorabilia room.
which I thought was cool. I'm
You
not
just like
saying
fancy uniforms.
I love fancy uniforms.
A man in a fancy uniform, Chris will get down.
Dude, I just the black and the silver. I don't know. There's something about I Hugo Boss nailed uniform. I do. I like the North Korean uniform. That makes me sound like more of a fascist. I like Australian uniforms too. Australian dress.
So you just don't like how the United States just went camo.
Yeah, we got super lame. The World War One uniform was super cool, and it's
Yeah.
just been downhill ever since.
It's like just get your fancy
I
shit out.
love the Confederate Civil War.
Queer eye for the military.
Dude,
Guy.
yeah. I love the gray and the blue. I fucking love
I like
silver.
gray blue.
It's so good.
That's the only kind of camo I like.
But I'm talking the Civil War uniforms where it was you were gray, we were blue. Like we're not dressing for camo, we're dressing for identification.
Yeah.
I like that. They go down to his Nazi lair, and it's kind of cool because there's a lot of cool historical stuff. And if you're a historian, you don't see things through right or wrong. You just see things as they are. Um, and he's like, oh, he pulls out
A gas canister.
a canister of Zyklon B, which is the pesticide that they used in the what are they called, death camps.
This is where he was like pathetically fanboying out.
Yeah, he was so hard. But me, as a person who likes to can like collect historical artifacts, I'm looking at that and go, can of poison from the Holocaust? I kind of want that on my shelf. Like I don't like what it's about, but I understand its importance, and I would like to own it. Like I would totally own like the gun that shot Lincoln. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
I would own the spear that killed Jesus.
Oh, Lance of Longinus.
Spear of Destiny.
Yeah, pick a destiny. Tenacious D. Anyway, so he shows him the can, and he's like, "This killed Jews," and Michael Douglas is just kind of like puts the can down and goes,
We are not the same.
And Michael Douglas is like, no,
"No,
I'm not like you at all.
I'm an American."
What do you call
He called him a fascist, a misogynist, racist, fascist Nazi. Like he was like, "You're what's wrong with this country. This is America. We have the right to free speech, which means I can disagree with you." And then he turns around,
him? Yeah.
and that's when the guy jumps him. He pulls a gun on him. He
Yeah.
tries to handcuff him, and he's like, "I'm gonna send you to prison where you're gonna get raped by black people. Huh? You want to get raped by black people? Spread your legs." And it's like weird. And then Michael Douglas,
Like a dinner fantasies.
yeah, Michael Douglas goes, "I can't spread my legs any further." And the guy goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Gravity." And then he makes his legs spread farther. Michael Douglas falls to one knee.
Cracks his glasses.
Yeah. And then he pulls the fucking butterfly knife out, fucking gets him right in like the fucking, like right between the collarbone.
Right in the jugular.
But just shoot. And it's like, oh, artery severed. You're dead. Nothing you can do.
I like how later on you find out he just put him in a display case.
Yeah, that
So
was
it's like
funny.
he product killed him. He like literally posed him up.
He probably put him in the fucking mirror with like "I'm a Nazi" written on his chest.
Yeah.
Like fuck that guy. He doesn't get why that he likes that jar of Zyklon B for the wrong reason. He likes it because he thinks it's like, yeah, dead Jews. But it's like, no, you like it because you know what it is and you can appreciate the evil that it is. I don't know.
They find an Annabelle.
No, I would just burn
I
it.
guess that's just all.
First scary thing that would happen, I'd burn the doll. Be like, oh, it stood up, and then I'd burn it.
Fucking Conjuring 3. He goes into somebody else's house that has a bunch of things. He's like, why don't you just burn all this?
Dude,
Motherfucker, you don't burn it. You keep it
like
in your own
Amityville
museum.
Horror. Oh man, this house is pretty spooky. Burn it.
Burn the ground under it about at least
Get
50
rid of
feet.
it. Get rid of it. That's the thing with horror movies. As soon as it's scary, it's like, just kill it. Just kill it. Get rid of it. Like, why do you even entertain it? Anyway.
Dead.
Yeah, but he couldn't kill the Evil Dead. That was the thing. That's why
what
he
I'm saying.
went
You can't
crazy.
escape.
But that's a different scenario than falling down.
Almost. One bad thing.
So what does he say when he kills the Nazi? He shoots the Nazi after he stabs him.
Yeah.
And he's like, and the whole time he's like, I'm not a piece of shit like you. I'm just trying to go home. And he kills this Nazi.
Hmm.
And it's like, again, you're like, okay, yeah, reasonable. Then it cuts to the cop, and he's at a Mexican restaurant. What happens after this? The cop scenes were so boring.
Yeah, let's skip over the cop scenes and go to Michael Douglas.
Well, what happens after him killing a Nazi?
They go to the cop scene where
That's what I mean.
is this when they're at lunch?
That's what I was just about to say. They're at the Mexican restaurant, and it's revealed the cop is cheating on his crazy wife.
But then she gets called because the Wallow Burger
Yeah,
scene.
right. And then he goes to investigate the Wallop burger and discovers it's another guy with tie. We should talk about the cop's wife real quick.
She cray.
She calls him once, talking about how she's too scared and starts breaking down in tears. And he has to like talk her down, and he sings London Bridge is Falling Down to like calm her. And then in another scene, she calls him back, fucking yelling at him and swearing at him. And it's just like, wow, that's how my mom acts. And it was fucking weird. And it was, yeah, it was over the top. And then it cuts. It goes to the construction.
Yeah, he tries to walk through a
Construction.
construction site.
And there's
they're
a fucking fat, lazy guy sitting at the construction site, basically like,
the scene was great just because
yeah, he's literally sitting there like this too.
It was just because of the little kid that made the scene so great.
And the guy and Michael Douglas walks up to him and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Fixing the road." And he goes, "What are you fixing?" And he goes, "The road." And he goes, "2 days ago the road was fine. Why does it need fixing now?" And he goes, "I don't know." And he goes, "I think it's because you need to justify your inflated budget. Otherwise, you lose the money next year. So you make up bullshit to fixing the road." And the guy goes, "Fuck you." And he goes, "So I'm right, huh?" And then he pulls a gun out. And then the guy goes, "I think it's something with the sewer." And he goes, "I don't believe you." And he goes, "You're right. I'm lying. I don't know why we're fixing the road.
Yeah, he's basically being like, "There's no reason. We're
There's
just
no
doing
reason.
it."
We're just fucking doing it to do it." And he goes, "That's what I fucking thought," which is the truth, you know?
He pulls out. You forgot
The law.
in the army surplus store. The Nazi guy pulls out like a bazooka thing.
Like I don't know if you guys ever played like any PlayStation 2 game. The law, you know, the tube bazooka with like the sight here and the trigger here, you know. So he pulls that out and he's trying to shoot it at the construction site. And some kid walks up to him and he's like, "Hey man, you gotta extend it." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "You gotta extend it." So he extends it and he goes, "Pull the cap off." And he goes, "Okay." And he's like, "All right, that's cool. Um, what movie you filming?" And he's like, under construction." And the kid's like, "That's cool. Okay, you gotta aim down the sight." And he's like, "Thanks, man." And then he goes, "So where are the cameras?" And he's like,
They're around.
"They're around." And the kid's like, "All right, that's cool. So remember, squeeze the trigger." And he squeezes the trigger early and shoots it down into the trench that the construction guys are working on. And what does Michael Douglas do? He puts himself between the kid and the explosion. So it's not like he's like, "Get down," and he blocks the kid. Like, so he's still a good guy.
Put a pin in that emotion for later on when we get to a different scene.
When we get to a very different scene. So he's still a good guy at that scene.
Yeah.
And it blows up the traffic and everyone freaks out and he runs away. And then where is he?
This is when it pops to the other people. Then it shows him hopping the fence.
Right. And then he winds up like in like the hills of LA, you know, with all the mansions and stuff. And it cuts to a family swimming in a pool. And it cuts to a family swimming in a pool. And he climbs over the fence and he comes out of the bushes and he's all cut up and he's angry because at this point he's like shot his, you know, he's been shot at, stabbed someone.
Pretty much what he goes about is it's a fucking mansion. So there's
Like
the big fence and they have barbed wire. So he's like, "Why would you have barbed wire? Somebody could hurt themselves. I fucking cut my hand on it."
I'm just trying to fucking cross through your lawn and you have fucking barbed wire.
And any normal person would be like, "It's my property." Like,
right. But the guy at the pool with his wife and his kid, 2 kids, goes, "I'm just the caretaker. The owner lets us have barbecues here. This is not my house." And you see Michael Douglas go, "Shit." And then you hear police sirens. And this is where Michael Douglas becomes bad guy. He grabs the daughter as a hostage. This is when it no longer he is justifiable in his actions.
But then you have like the weird moment where they go into
They
this
go like
little
a grotto.
grotto, and he's holding a little girl. He has the gun and everything. Then he kind of like looks down and he's like, "Fuck!" and he lets the little
Yeah,
girl
he lets
go.
the little girl go, and they're like, "Just don't hurt us." And he's like, "You think I'd hurt you? No, I wouldn't hurt you. I don't.
And this is where it goes full lunatic. That would make anybody
It's my
hard.
little girl's birthday.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm just trying to go home.
no, because you very calmly. He's like, "I have a family.
I have a family. I have a daughter.
It's her birthday."
I'm just trying to go home." And he like sits back, and he's starting to replay the day's events in his
Yeah.
head. And then that's when he's like, "I can't go back." You know, like
You got to give it to Michael Douglas.
he was amazing.
It's
in
like
this
the
movie.
facial expressions and the way he would like compose himself.
And at first, in the very beginning of the movie, he's no facial expressions. And by the end of the movie, he's emoting so goddamn hard. Oh, this movie's so good.
Our Hank Pym. Yeah, fuck you.
That's why when they cast him as Hank Pym, I got excited.
Yeah.
Because I was like, dude, Hank Pym can play. Michael Douglas can play a crazy person so goddamn well. That's why I got so excited that they cast Michael Douglas as Hank Pym. Because Michael Douglas can play a crazy person and Hank Pym's a crazy person. And then we got the Ant-Man movies, and I was super upset.
I like those movies.
Yeah, but imagine Hank Pym is like Michael Douglas's character, where one day he just goes crazy. Janet deserved it. The cop gets called to the girlfriend wife's apartment because she called the cop 3 times, and she basically explains that she has a restraining order and all this stuff. And he goes to see the mom, and it turns out the guy, like, they go to his bedroom and it's like super clean.
Mm.
Like bed made, nothing out of order. He opens up a leather case. It's full of compasses. You know what a compass is, right? Not the thing that tells you the direction. Yeah, that you can draw circles with. So obviously he's some sort of extreme mathematician. Yeah, so after the cop basically figures out its defense is Michael Douglas's character.
This is when he's going down the boardwalk, right?
No, this is just before that. He calls his wife one last time.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "Don't come." And he's like, "No, I'm coming. I'm gonna show up. I bought my daughter a unicorn. I'm gonna show up. There's nothing you can do to stop me." Because
No, this is when he was having a breakdown, being like, this goes into the end of the movie, that final scene.
yes,
Because he's like, would you like the pony or would she like the unicorn? What would she like better? And he's kind of having a breakdown. That's when her head, well, you don't know it at the time, but that's in her head. She's like, fuck.
yeah. And he's talking, and it's at the beginning of the movie. You see her walking by a toy shop with ponies and unicorns in the front, and then when he's doing this, you see it's the same toy shop. That toy shop is like 40 feet away from her house. So she comes to the realization that he's right outside her house. And this is when she gives the whole, he's like, "But you're my wife." And she's like, "Not anymore," kind of thing. And this is when Michael Douglas, like, really fucking goes crazy. And he starts running towards the house. The mom and the daughter go out the back door. He goes in the front door. They run down, and they run down to the pier. And Michael Douglas is just sitting in the empty house watching old VHSs of him and his daughter and his wife.
And this is where they go to the scene where it shows him filming,
Right.
trying to put the daughter on the rocking horse,
And
the
she's
whole time
crying.
she's crying, and the wife's like, she doesn't want to. He's like,
And-
just put her on the goddamn
Put her
horse.
on
I
a-
bought it for her.
And
Put it on the horse.
and then it cuts to Michael Douglas watching himself yell at his wife and kid, and like realizing like
This is how creepy that fucking scene was.
That
Like,
scene
would she
was-
have liked the unicorn better?
Yeah, that scene was so heavy. Where he's filming her on the pier, and he's like, "Don't do that." She's like, "What?" And he was like, "Don't make that face, you bitch," And it's
Yeah.
just like, and you see him kind of like do the, "Oh God, I'm the bad guy."
It's one of those awful things where you like wake up in the morning and you're like, fuck.
It's like waking up after a blackout and being like,
It's like a 5-year blackout.
I fucked up. Like,
Yeah. But in his head, he's like,
no, he admits to it. Remember at the end?
no, but in his head, he's like, I've gone too far.
Yeah, that's literally. I think he literally says that in that scene. I've gone
Yeah.
too far, and then he hears police sirens. So he starts running to the back door, The cop chases him. He shoots at the cop. That's where Hero Cop finds Shot Cop on the ground, grabs her gun, and chases him to the pier.
Mm.
And then they're on the pier, and the little girl and the mom are there, and they turn around and see.
This scene was way too long of him just running on the board, like the little dock.
But it was trying to build it up for you. That was the actual length of the dock with him actually running it. You know what I mean? So like, I like that. So he winds up running up to his wife and kids. The girl turns around and goes, "Look, mommy, it's daddy!" And mommy's fucking terrified because mommy knows what the fuck's going on. And he's like, "Hey, hey, it's me, your dad."
And he like, gives her like the really uncomfortable, like
With-
tight,
And
little too
he
tight.
kisses his wife, and she's
Oh,
not.
that was that
Yeah.
was what happened to me first. He just like walks up to her and starts kissing her on the lips, and it's just like,
And she's like,
and it's like, oh god, no.
Yep. And then he bends down and he's like, "I'm your dad. I'm never leaving. Never again. I promise. I will never leave again." And he puts his gun down. And that's when Robert Duvall is like, "Huh, weird, huh? Like, woo, you know, like," and he starts doing the police thing where he's trying to talk Michael Douglas down, and he like circles him and winds up putting himself almost between Michael Douglas and his family.
I like the scene when he sees Michael Douglas' head go down, so he just flashes his gun real quick.
Yeah. Michael Douglas looks away and he flashes his gun to the wife, and the wife sees the gun and notices and like gives a nod. And then since the wife puts her foot between Michael Douglas and Michael Douglas's gun,
Mm.
and then kicks it away.
This is where he like took the panic. He goes no, and then the whole he pulls out the
Robert Duvall pulls out his gun. Michael Douglas's gun kicks away. His wife runs over, grabs the gun, and drops it off the pier. And he's going like, "No! Like,
how could you do this?
Why would you do this?" She's like, "I don't love you. This isn't your daughter." And he's just like, "Okay, okay." And then he looks. The cop's got his gun drawn on him, and he's like, the cop's like, "You can just, if you just surrender, we have some nice police officers you can talk to." And he goes, "No,
Yeah,
no.
too much.
Spend my life in jail? No."
He was pretty much like, you can still see your daughter grow up, and he's like,
Through
behind
bars?
bars? No, thank you.
No, thank you. I'd rather die and give her the insurance.
We also forgot to mention his daughter the whole time was playing with one of those cool water pistols back in the day.
So it comes down to he goes, "How about this? How about we draw? Think about it.
This is Michael Douglas talking.
Yeah, the villain kills the hero kills the villain. It's beautiful, isn't it?" And he's like, "I don't want to do this." Robert Duvall's like, "I don't want to do this. I don't want to shoot you, man." And he goes, "All right, ready? One." And he goes, "We don't have to do it." And he goes, "Come on, this is all we have to do," or something like that. Two, and he's like, "Don't make me do this." And he goes, "I got nothing to lose." And then three, and he reaches for his pocket, pulls out the water pistol, shoots Duvall in the face, and Duvall shoots him dead center in the chest.
And right after you see Michael Douglas fall back, you see, what's his name?
Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall wipe water off his face.
And Michael Douglas goes, falls backwards into the ocean and dies.
We say as soon as I saw the toy gun and what, I'm like,
Yeah, you saw that coming from the get go. But obviously,
smart.
no. But so he falls into the water, and then it goes to the wife's house, and it turns out it was her daughter's birthday.
Yeah, you see like the kids awkwardly standing there with cops are with the gifts, and it's like, ooh,
Ooh, yeah.
he's not gonna have a good
Movie ends on a bummer. Nothing is resolved. Society still sucks. We just got to watch one man go insane. This movie's amazing.
Yeah,
It's a heavy.
it's a good movie, and it, the main thing you should walk away from this movie is just treat people better.
That's all it is just be nice.
Like you never like the thing is like I try to treat like not to get on my soapbox here, but I don't want to fuck with people. Like you're mean to one person, you don't know what they're gonna do.
They go be mean to someone
I'm not
else.
saying I'm just being nice to people so they don't murder me.
No, it's
like
just
why?
it's like I remember I had a moment in Stop and Shop once where I was walking down.
Dave's Market.
No, I was walking down. No, Dave's is where I fight people. Stop and Shop is where I help people. The amount of confrontations I get in at Dave's is astounding. But I'm walking down like the bargain aisle, you know, the one next to the produce, and this old lady drops her purse, And like I have things in my hand, so I stop and I look, and there's a crowd of people watching this old lady bend over slowly to pick up her purse. So I said out loud, "Guess it's me." Put my stuff down, walked over, grabbed her purse, and went, "Here you go, miss." And she went, "Thank you very much." And I went, "No." Or I didn't say no. I was just like, "You're welcome. You're welcome." Anyone would have done it. And I was like looking at the crowd, and they just went back to shopping. And that's where I was like, "Oh, everybody sucks." Like
Yeah.
that's this movie. This movie is that feeling where you're like, "Am I the only one that cares?"
So if you're gonna learn one lesson, just
be
it's
nice.
easier to be nice to people.
Don't make
The problem is everybody's in such a rush nowadays.
everybody's too obsessed with self, and they forget that there's other people around them. When you walk into a room with a bad mood, you're gonna bring everyone down. That's all it is. Like, don't make your problems other people's problems. Keep them to yourself. That's all it is. Don't go onto a bus pissed off and punch someone. Why would you do that?
Ugh.
Like,
And if you're in a traffic jam, just know.
just sit there.
I get mad at traffic jams.
Beep your horn.
But yeah, beep.
Scream.
God, I fucking hate it when people beep horns, man.
I yell at them. I roll my window down and I yell, "Stop."
I'm like, what are you accomplishing?
Yeah. I usually either yell "stop" or "good job."
The only reason you should beep your horn is if somebody's
If
at
someone's
stop
about to
sign or
die.
stoplight and they're not going, give them that nice little beep beep.
I'm not
And
even
wave
just
to
a
'em.
just a bit.
Yeah, and just wave to them. Be like, hey, I'm not being mean.
Did I tell you about the guy that fucking I was in the turning lane and he pulled in front of me and wouldn't let me turn and then was yelling at me that I couldn't turn? Some whole fat guy was flipping me off and shit and laying on his horn.
But anyway, thanks for watching.
And I was just smiling and waving to him the entire time because I was like, if he gets out of his car, I think I can kill him. I can't fight, but I know he can't fight. You know what I mean?
I can't fight better than he can't fight.
Exactly.
But thanks for watching.
This movie's amazing.
Yeah, check this movie out. Let us know if
Ignore the
seen
propaganda. A lot of people say this is some sort of like right-wing extremist film, but you watch it. This is not right-wing extremist at all.
It's just a dude wanting people to be decent people.
He just wants
and
to
even
go
when
home.
he confronts the fucking Nazis, like, no, you're a fucking asshole. You're a bad person. You shouldn't spend your days wanting to hate people.
Exactly. And he just wants to go home. That's all he wanted.
Granted, he does have some mental
Yeah,
issues.
he does have some issues, which
His mom's like, I'm afraid to eat with him because he just stares.
Yeah, his mom is psycho too, though.
Yeah.
Did you see the weird war monument to his dead dad?
Yeah.
Like that was an entire wall in the house is dedicated to his dead dad. Like, that couldn't have been a good house to grow up into.
Yeah. The good thing to grow up to, our show.
No.